Let me tell you something. The world doesn't clap when you start. It doesn't throw a party when you decide to change your life. And it sure as hell won't cheer when you wake up at 5 a.m. to hit the gym or grind through your goals while everyone else is sleeping. You want applause? Earn it. Not today, not tomorrow, but after months, maybe years of doing the work when nobody sees you. The beginning is quiet for a reason. It's supposed to test you. It's supposed to ask, are you doing this for the praise or are you doing this for the progress? Most people quit not because it's hard, but because no one is watching. No one's liking their post. No one's validating their grind. So they stop. But giants are built in silence, not in spotlights, not in crowds, in silence. So stop expecting noise at the start of your journey. Earn your echo later. Everyone wants the respect. Few can handle the rejection. But let me break this down for you. You will be rejected long before you're respected. That's the price of growth. You'll be misunderstood, ignored, laughed at. People will call your dream unrealistic. They'll say you've changed. They'll question your silence, your grind, your absence. And you know what? That's good. Rejection is your filter. It shows you who's really meant to walk with you and who was only there for the version of you that stays small. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school team. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for TV. Rejection isn't the end. It's the furnace, the fire that burns off the weak and forges the strong. So don't just survive rejection, let it fuel your rise. Instagram won't make you great. Likes won't level you up. Let's be real, if you train for applause, you'll collapse when the audience disappears. Your strength is built underground, when no one's filming, when it's just you, the grind, and the voice in your head telling you to quit. Imagine a seed, buried deep, alone, covered in darkness. No one sees its effort. No one watches it break through the soil, but it keeps growing quietly, relentlessly, until one day it breaks through and then the world sees the result. But here's the truth. No one claps for the seed. They only cheer for the tree. So stop trying to be seen. Start trying to become. You think grinding in silence is about proving something to others? It's not. It's about proving something to yourself. Effing the world doesn't clap when you start. It doesn't throw a party when you decide to change your life. And it sure as hell won't cheer when you... This isn't about showing the world you're worthy. It's about realizing you've always been worthy, but now you're doing the work to rise to that truth. Ego wants credit. Evolution wants change. Ego wants to be seen. Evolution wants to be shaped. When you evolve, you stop asking, are they watching? And start asking, am I growing? Forget the flex. Forget the flash. Focus on becoming the version of you that doesn't need the noise. Because the real you, the unstoppable you, that version is unlocked in the silence. This is the question that breaks people or makes them. When no one's watching, who are you? Do you still show up? Do you still work like the world depends on it? Do you still keep your promises, even when there's no one around to applaud your discipline? That's where integrity is born. That's where greatness is forged. Not on stage, but in your room at 6 a.m. when no one cares whether you grind or sleep in. Not when you post, but when you practice. Let me be blunt. If you can't be consistent in private, don't expect to be celebrated in public. The ones who win long-term are the ones who master the art of invisible excellence. The silent killers, the quiet storm, the ones you never saw coming because they were too busy becoming. And now you get it. You see the power in the quiet. But the world you live in, it doesn't make silence easy. It rewards the loud. It feeds the performative. It drowns you in noise. So let's talk about that. Let's expose the trap. Let's move to why the world rewards the loud but respects the quiet. Let me make something clear. Loud doesn't mean strong. It means visible. It means noisy. It means quick to impress, but slow to endure. We live in a world addicted to fast fame. Quick wins, instant validation. It's like fast food, cheap, fast, and addictive. But just like fast food, it doesn't nourish you. It doesn't build anything real. You scroll through people flexing their workouts, flashing their income, showing their perfect lives. But ask yourself this, how much of that is real? How much of that will still be there 5 years from now? It's easy to be loud. It's hard to be consistent. It's easy to talk. It's hard to show up. It's easy to fake confidence. It's hard to build character. Don't confuse noise with power. The ones doing the most aren't always the ones posting the most. Power isn't always loud. It's often silent, focused, and unshakable. You want the truth? You're addicted to validation. Every like, every view, every comment, it gives you a hit. A little boost, a little high. But here's the thing, it fades fast. And when it's gone, you're left empty, unmotivated, chasing the next fix. That's not freedom, that's dependence. Real confidence isn't fed by external praise. It's built in the dark, where no one claps for you, but you show up anyway. Validation is like sugar, sweet but empty. It doesn't fuel you, it fools you, and worse, it controls you. You start living to be seen instead of living to evolve. You start posting your progress instead of deepening your purpose. Ask yourself, if no one ever saw your work, would you still do it? If the answer is no, you're not chasing growth, you're chasing attention, and attention fades. Here's a tough pill. If you only move when people are watching, you're not in control. They are. That means you're a puppet. And the strings, they're held by the crowd. You train hard when people expect it. You grind when the pressure's on. You show discipline when it's convenient. But what happens when the lights go off? When no one's watching? When the comments stop coming? That's when warriors are revealed. Not the ones who need an audience, but the ones who need the mission. A puppet performs. A warrior prepares. A puppet waits for applause. A warrior trains in silence. You don't need their claps. You need your commitment. Be careful what you celebrate too early. That little progress, it's not the finish line, it's the warm-up. Here's what happens when you celebrate too soon. You let your guard down. You start to think, I've made it. You stop pushing, and before you know it, the hunger dies. Think of every athlete who dominated one season and vanished the next. Think of every entrepreneur who had one big launch and disappeared after. Why? Because early praise gave him a false finish line. Your potential is a mountain. Celebrate one step, but don't forget you're still climbing. So before you pop the champagne, ask yourself, did I earn this moment, or am I just craving recognition? Never confuse momentum with mastery. Let's strip this down. Train. Don't post. Grind. Don't brag. Build. Don't beg. Why? Because the energy you waste trying to prove you're winning could be used to actually win. Posting doesn't make you disciplined. Bragging doesn't make you better. Begging for attention doesn't make you great. The real ones, they're out there putting in the reps when nobody sees them. They're not posting every meal, every workout, every win. They're stacking in silence. Let the results speak. Let the work echo. Let the success make the noise. And when you finally emerge, make it so loud, they'll ask, where have you been? And you'll say, I was building while you were busy performing. The world will always try to pull you toward noise. But now you see it clearly. The distractions, the traps, the addiction to being seen. So let's go deeper. Let's talk about the invisible season, the quietest, hardest, most transformational phase of your life. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll expand. Let me ask you something. Can you disappear for 6 months and come back unrecognizable? Can you go ghost while everyone else is flexing? Can you go dark while they're chasing likes and come back light years ahead? Because that's what the greats do. They vanish, they go to work, they let people doubt them, and then boom, they return transformed. Look at Kobe. Off season, he was in the gym before the lights came on. No tweets, no cameras, just sweat. He wasn't training for attention. He was training for legacy. You don't need to announce the grind. You just need to submit to it. Work so hard in private that when they see you again, they don't recognize your level. They don't understand your focus. All they know is you went away and came back lethal. You want to become a legend? You better get used to silence. You better get used to pain, because legends aren't made in noise. They're made in the dark. Emotion says, I feel like it today. Discipline says, I do it anyway. The performer trains when it's fun. The doer trains because it's required. The performer posts quotes. The doer lives by them. If you only move when you're inspired, you're a slave to feeling. But if you move regardless, you become dangerous. Think of your life like building a house. Discipline is the bricklayer. It shows up early. It lays the foundation, one brick at a time. No flash, no fuss, just steady progress. Drama is the decorator. It wants shiny windows and fancy paint before the structure's even solid. It looks good on the outside, but the house, it can't stand a storm. People love to decorate. They love to talk. They love to look successful. But if you skip the bricks, the whole thing collapses. That's why so many people start strong and disappear. Discipline builds what drama can't fake. You wanna know who you're becoming? Don't show me your goals. Show me your schedule. You say you want to be elite. Great. But do your habits match your ambition? Because your calendar is your commitment. Your actions are your truth. And if they don't line up, your dream is a lie. You can say, I want to be a beast. But if your day is filled with scrolling, skipping workouts, sleeping in, and talking instead of doing, then the only beast you're feeding is your ego. Write this down. You will not rise to your dreams. You will fall to your habits. That's the cold truth. Your dreams don't matter if your discipline is trash. You can visualize all day. You can make mood boards and motivational playlists. But if your habits are weak, your results will be too. Want to write a book? Write every day. Want to get fit? Train and eat right. Want to be a leader? Study, serve, sacrifice. You don't need a new dream. You need new habits. Don't tell me you're serious about your future while making lazy choices in your present. Let's be real right now. How many times have you promised yourself something and didn't follow through? I'll wake up early. Didn't happen. I'll cut out junk food. Lasted 3 days. I'll stop scrolling and focus. Back on your phone again. Here's the danger. You're teaching yourself that your word means nothing. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your self-respect takes a hit. And when self-respect dies, discipline disappears. You can't build a strong life on weak promises. You can't expect others to believe in you when you don't even believe in yourself enough to keep your own word. So ask yourself, am I living in alignment or just lying in silence? Let's end with this. Talkers train when they feel like it. Killers train regardless. Talkers post quotes. Killers become the quote. Talkers want to look like beasts. Killers suffer until they are won. You don't need more motivation. You need more execution. You don't need more talk. You need more discipline. Because discipline doesn't care how you feel. It only cares what you do. And in the end, it's not the loudest in the room who wins. It's the most consistent, the most focused, the most committed when no one's watching. You've heard the noise. You've felt the pressure. You've tasted discipline. But there's one place where all of this comes together. One place where everything is stripped away and the truth is all that's left. Let's talk about solitude. Let's talk about why you must learn to walk alone before you're ready to lead. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll expand. Let me tell you something. Most people won't say solitude isn't weakness. It's strength. They'll try to make you feel bad for being alone. They'll ask, why are you so quiet? They'll assume something's wrong because you're not out flashing your life. But here's what they don't understand. Sometimes the quietest people are doing the loudest work internally. You're not isolating yourself to escape the world. You're doing it to build yourself in silence. Solitude isn't shameful, it's sacred. It's not loneliness, it's leadership preparation. Because the strongest warriors, they train alone. Let's reframe it right now. You're not in isolation, you're in incubation. A seed doesn't sprout in sunlight alone. It starts beneath the surface, hidden, covered, underground. That's what solitude is. It's the place where you form, where you grow roots, where you prepare for the storm. The caterpillar disappears into the cocoon, not because it gave up, but because it's getting ready to fly. You might feel like you're cut off right now. You might feel like no one sees you, hears you, supports you. But hear this loud. You're not falling behind. You're loading. You're not stuck. You're transforming. Incubation is uncomfortable, but it's where the future version of you is born. In solitude, you hear the truth. The world is noisy. It tells you who to be, what to want, how to live. But when you step into silence, you start hearing something deeper, your own voice. And that voice, it doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter you. It tells you where you're slacking, where you're hiding, where you're holding back. In solitude, you face the lies. The lies you've told yourself for years. I'm not good enough. I don't have time. I'll start tomorrow. They get exposed because in the silence, you can't hide behind distraction anymore. In solitude, you build the beast. This is where you sharpen your mind, strengthen your spirit, test your discipline. This is where the future you is forged, not when people are watching, but when you're all alone with the work. Let me ask you something real. When was the last time you sat with yourself and didn't flinch? No phone, no music, no distractions, just you, your flaws, your fears, your dreams, your doubts. Most people can't do it. They'll scroll, swipe, binge, post anything to avoid facing who they really are. But here's the twist. You can't fix what you won't face. If you're serious about becoming your strongest self, you've got to be willing to sit in the silence and feel the friction. You've got to hear the ugly truth and use it as fuel, not a reason to quit. The people who face themselves, they're rare, they're real, they're ready for anything. Lions don't train in herds, they stalk alone. You ever see a lion preparing for battle with a crowd? No, they isolate, they move in silence, they watch, they wait, they sharpen, and when they strike, it's sudden, it's deadly, it's precise. That's who you're becoming. You're not training for attention, you're not moving with the crowd, you're a lion. You're building something lethal in the quiet. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who've trained in solitude and are now ready to lead in storms. If you want to become unstoppable, you got to get comfortable being unseen. You got to be okay with nobody checking in, nobody clapping, nobody posting your progress. Because the moment you stop needing recognition, you start operating with real power. That's when your grind becomes sacred. That's when your focus becomes fierce. That's when your silence becomes your strength. So stay quiet, stay sharp, stay in the shadows. And when the time comes to emerge, you won't need to say a word. Your results will roar for you. Now that you understand the value of solitude, let's talk about the enemy of solitude. The one thing stealing your focus, your discipline, your destiny, noise. It's everywhere. And if you don't learn how to shut it out, it will drown you. Let's get one thing straight. Most people stay average because they're trapped in noise. They're not failing because they're weak. They're failing because they're distracted. They're locked in the loop. Wake up, grab the phone, scroll, compare, panic, post, repeat. The noise tells them you're behind. The noise says you're not enough. So they chase more attention, more validation, more chaos. Social media is the new addiction. But the drug isn't the platform, it's the approval. You post to be seen. You respond to be liked. You scroll to feel something. And before you know it, you've handed your power to a screen, to strangers, to algorithms. You didn't lose your potential, you gave it away. You're working for applause instead of working for results. Here's the command: silence the world before it silences you. Because it will silence you. It will drown out your dreams. It will bury your purpose under dopamine hits and distractions. Every time you give your attention to something meaningless, you're starving your mission. You want to change your life? Start with this. Mute the world. Dial in. Lock down. Because the world isn't going to stop shouting. You got to learn to stop listening. Make silence a weapon. Make solitude your sanctuary. Train your mind to hear what matters and ignore what doesn't. You don't need more input. You need more inner clarity. Think of your focus like money. Every time you scroll, you spend it. But what are you buying? Likes? Validation? Distraction? You wouldn't hand your bank account to a stranger, but you hand over your attention every single day. To trends, to influencers, to gossip, to everything except your goals. Your focus is currency. And too many people are broke not because they're lazy, but because they're wasting their wealth on noise. Successful people, they invest their focus. They budget their time. They spend attention where it multiplies on growth, not gimmicks. Start guarding your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Here's the truth most won't tell you. There's a war between focus and distraction, execution and exhibition. Focus is hard. It requires silence, planning, patience. Distraction is easy. It looks like progress, but it's just motion without direction. Execution is quiet. It's waking up early, grinding alone, building without noise. Exhibition is loud. It's posting, talking, bragging without doing the real work. You've got to choose. Do you want to be effective or just visible? Because you can't be both at the same time. Most people choose to look like they're winning instead of actually winning. Don't be most people. Let me ask you something. Would you still grind if the likes stopped coming? If no one saw your post, if no one replied to your story, if no one clapped for your effort, would you still show up? If your answer is no, then you're not committed. You're performing. Real success doesn't need to be seen. It just needs to be done. So ask yourself today, are you building a legacy or just running a highlight reel? Because when the lights go out, only the work will speak. Let's finish with this. The noise doesn't just distract, it destroys. It kills clarity. It poisons progress. It turns beasts into beggars begging for likes instead of building legacies. You think the noise is harmless? It's not. It's stealing your time, your focus, your potential. And the longer you let it, the harder it becomes to hear your own voice, your own dream, your own calling. So cut the noise. Burn the need for approval. Get silent, get serious, get to work. Because while the average are busy posting, the rare are out there building empires in silence. Now you know what's holding most people back. They chase noise. You've learned to block it. You've built discipline. You've mastered solitude. You've escaped distraction. So now it's time to talk about what happens when you train in silence. Let's move into the transformation. Let me know if you want me to continue with. Let's kill the myth right now. There's no such thing as a glow up. You don't wake up one day and suddenly have it all together. You don't buy a new outfit, hit a few workouts, and call it transformation. That's surface level. That's for show. The real change, you don't glow up. You grow up. You grow through failure. You grow through discipline. You grow through lonely mornings, hard choices, and quiet victories. Growing up means doing what's necessary, not what's popular. It means becoming consistent when it's boring, It means sacrificing comfort to earn strength. Growth doesn't happen in a mirror. It happens in your habits. So forget the glow. Focus on the growth. When you train in silence, something starts to shift. Not just in your body, but in your mind, in your spirit. You become sharper, quieter, more locked in. You stop needing to explain yourself. You stop defending your dream. You just become the person who does the work daily, privately, relentlessly. And then one day you show up and they don't recognize you. You speak less, but your presence says more. You walk differently. You move with certainty. You're not loud, but you're lethal. You've become the version of you they never saw coming because you were too busy becoming to be noticed. And when they ask, where have you been? You simply say, building. Transformation doesn't announce itself. It doesn't throw a parade. It doesn't scream, look at me. It whispers. It hides in daily discipline, in skipped temptations, in the workout no one saw, in the late night reading while everyone else was partying. Transformation is quiet, but its results, they echo forever. Think about it. You don't hear the caterpillar transform, but you can't ignore the butterfly when it flies. You don't hear muscles growing in the gym, but you see the strength they produce when life hits hard. That's the power of silent transformation. It's not about being noticed now. It's about becoming undeniable later. There are two types of confidence in this world: borrowed confidence and earned confidence. Borrowed confidence comes from other people, from followers, from comments, from compliments. It's temporary. It's fragile. It disappears the moment the attention fades. Earned confidence, that comes from doing the work, from showing up when it's hard, from keeping promises to yourself, even when no one else is watching. It's the kind of confidence that walks into a room without saying a word because it doesn't need to. You know what you've done. You know what you've built. You don't need validation. You got receipts. Stop borrowing your confidence from others. Start earning it through discipline. Because the most dangerous person in the room is the one who trained alone, failed in silence, and showed up ready without a word. You want to be great? Then fix it in the dark. Fix your mindset. Fix your habits. Fix your health. Fix your circle. Do it all before the world's watching. Do it when no one is clapping, checking, or commenting. Because when you fix it in the dark, you don't need to prove anything in the light. You walk in with power, not permission. You don't have to flex. You are the flex. You don't ask for validation. You deliver domination. That's the reward of silent training. You don't just change what people see. You change who you are. So stay low. Stay focused. Stay in the shadows long enough that when the spotlight finally hits, you're already ready. You've walked through the silence. You've trained through the pain. You've embraced solitude, rejected noise, and built a beast in the dark. Now it's time for the final phase. Not to talk, not to post, but to rise. Let's finish strong. Let's talk about the era we're living in. The era of the silent killers. Let me continue with, let me tell you something. Most won't admit power is sharpened in private. You don't prepare for battle in front of a crowd. You do it behind closed doors, alone, focused, obsessed. Your sword, that's your skill, your discipline, your mindset, and it gets sharpened in the shadows. No one sees you reading those books. No one sees you rejecting that temptation. No one sees you showing up when it's easier to quit. But that's the point. Every strike of the grind sharpens the blade. Every quiet rep, every unseen hour, that's edge building. So when you finally step out, you're not just ready, you're dangerous. Because while they're watching others, you are becoming something they couldn't handle. This is where we separate the serious from the show-offs. You don't need to announce the work. You need to do the work. No countdowns, no previews, no I'm coming posts, just silence. just focus, just action. The ones who talk the most, they're usually doing the least. Because energy spent on performance is energy stolen from progress. You're not here to impress. You're here to execute. You're here to build the kind of legacy that doesn't need a billboard. It carries weight all on its own. So here's your new rule. Say less. Do more. Let this rhythm guide you. Train in silence. No cameras. No claps. No look at me. Just sweat and standards. Win in silence. Let your win stack. Let your name circulate without your help. Evolve in silence. Outgrow people. Outgrow patterns. Outgrow your old identity quietly. Because the deeper your transformation, the less you feel the need to prove it. The real ones aren't trying to impress. They're trying to improve relentlessly, ruthlessly, silently. And then when the time is right, they move. And the whole world takes notice, not because they said something, but because they became something. You know what's more powerful than attention? Mystery, the silence, the absence, the unpredictability. While others are broadcasting their every move, you're building yours in the dark. And that confusion, that curiosity, that's your weapon. Let them wonder why you went ghost. Let them guess why your name is coming up again. Let them try to figure out how you went from nobody to undeniable. Keep them guessing, because mystery creates fear. Mystery creates respect. Mystery creates momentum. Let the results hit them before the announcement does. That's how legends move. And now we end where we began. Train in silence. Let them hear you later. Because the echo of your work will speak louder than anything you could post. The roar of your results will drown out the noise you refuse to make. They don't need to see the climb. They'll feel the quake when you arrive at the top. So go back into the lab. Go back into the cave. Back to the early mornings. Back to the lonely reps. Back to the inner war that no one will ever understand. Because that's where beasts are born. And when it's finally time, you won't have to say a word. The silence will speak for you. Train in silence. Let them hear you later.